Awesome.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So now if you're watching this on recording, you got to wonder what we were talking about before this, but the reality is I came on just now, so I'm curious about what people were saying before this too. But glad to be on with everybody. Got a couple of quick updates, and then we're just going to open it up for those of you who are here in person for questions and Q&A and the like. Let me pull up. I'm meeting hopping today. I literally went from a meeting, an hour-long meeting before town hall, then town hall. Then we have a 2-hour like all hands meeting that we do with all of the staff right after the town hall. Then we have a team lunch with all the staff. And then I just got done with another meeting right after that. And now I'm here. So I only say all of that to say I've got to pull up my notes for what I prepared for today.
This is where you all go, but are you working nights and weekends?
That's exactly right. And the reality is, in unfortunate ways this weekend, yes, because my house flooded. So
I was talking about the weather out there. What's going on?
it was bad, and it is bad, and doesn't matter at this point. I got like the good thing is I get to leave the house and work because I normally don't go to the office that often, but this week I've been hanging out here longer and longer because I'm like, I don't want to go home. I got to freaking deal with flood stuff again. But it is what it is, and it'll all be good.
You can always come out to Indiana, just pack your, sweatshirts and stuff.
Hey, do you notice I'm in full on like puffy coat today? It's 58 high, man. It's brutally cold out here right now.
At gravy 58.
Well, that's
I'm in South Carolina with my hoodie on.
that's summertime here. So
Exactly, yeah, right. Isn't that funny? It is all perspective. I started my day with a call with a guy, excuse me, that Deb is up by you in Boston, and I was complaining about it, being cold. And he's like, Dan, he's like, all right, so it's cold. He's like, what is it, 49? Like, is that like freezing cold for you right there right now? Like, and at the time it was 45 that early in the morning. But nonetheless, he's like, bro, he's like, if I see 45 today, I will be thrilled.
that's shorts weather up here right now.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. Right. That's bikini weather.
It was 51 yesterday. Everybody had their shorts and t-shirts on.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it. I've lived that. I've been in places where when we first moved out here, I remember I went to church like the first Sunday that we had moved out here, and it was this time of year and in the 50s, and I was in shorts, t-shirts, and flip-flops, and literally a guy walked up to me and said, hey man, like, aren't you freezing? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's like 58 degrees. This is freaking glorious. And he kind of looked at me like in his mind, he probably thought what I would think now is like, oh, this person clearly doesn't live here. But for me, it was a wonderful sunny day. And I was like, man, I'm gonna wear shorts and a t-shirt. Well, hey, thanks everybody. I hope that everybody, I think all three of you were on the town hall earlier today. Got to do some great recognition of some awesome people, talk through some things. I did want to cover off on a couple of items with you today. And I pulled up the wrong note, so let me now change it. Here we go. Perfect. One, I want to go through kind of what I went through on the call with everybody, talking about like finances for company. Two, talk about lending momentarily, talk about transitioning people, and then goals. So let's start first with finances. So I shared this when we were on with the whole company, but I went even in more detail with our staff, like our actual team, when we had our call or our meeting right after that, just to kind of give everyone kind of some insight. So a couple of main things have been going on. One, like any prudent person or CFO or pragmatic person that sees what's been going on in the industry since all of this downward spiral and tailspin in the industry has begun, we've been watching that the entire time and have looked for every opportunity that we had to cut expenses. So that's been defense number one from the get-go, and have been able to successfully do that and successfully stay in a good place really through this entire season. We had 2 months last year that were not profitable months. One of them was a big not profitable month, but it was because of combination of paying our annual E&O and the summit taking place in the exact same month. So like all of those expenses like hit at once. And then we had another one that was marginally not profitable when you adjust for things that are like shared expenses with, office space and things like that. So the actual like burn rate is what you call it when a company is not profitable, is one that is not currently anything that's concerning. Like we've saved up reserves the entire time that we've had the business. Those of us that could take distributions, like haven't historically taken distributions. 2022, we literally took no money and just keep putting money into the business because we saw what was going on. So there's runway for that. There's also, so that's number one, is the expense bottoming. The second thing that is a priority when we've been doing it is like, how do you increase revenue? Because those are the two things you can do when things start to go sideways in an industry. Is like, okay, how do you focus on growing revenue, decreasing expenses to keep the P&L healthy? So there's been a number of strategic like partnerships and opportunities and things that we have looked at, talked through, and pursued. The one that we hustled on the most and most vigorously was this Home Story partnership. And I know not everyone has the opportunity to partner in it, but for the agents that we'll get to, it's a tremendous blessing. For the agents that don't yet, I would highly recommend that every one of them fight like a dog to get access to the program, because I said 8 in the last week on the call for what we have as far as inbound leads to Century so far. The number is actually 24. During our all hands meeting, Nicola corrected me and gave me the right number and said that in the first week that we have launched with them, we've already had 24 leads be provided to Century agents. And if you think about it, the macro level, 24 leads converting at, their low sides, like a 25%, it's likely that there's 6 actual clients that get served out of that. Which if you think about last month, we had 48 families served across all of Century in December. So 6 families coming out of just that 1 week worth of leads. You extrapolate that out, call that 24 that could potentially come over the course of a month. All of a sudden you're adding 50% of the revenue back into the business, both into our agents' lives and also back into the actual company. So it's things like that that make a big, big impact and dent into everything that we're doing going forward. But again, like the biggest thing I can commit to you is that we will continue to fight for and seek out like whatever strategic partnerships and opportunities need to be in place in order for the mission to survive and to thrive. So that's where our minds are, and that's where we will continue pressing on. And in the meantime, the goal is to be able to help people as much as we can, even as we're, getting scrappy with everything we're doing too.
Hey, quick note to add to that, Dan.
Yeah.
For that Home Story lead program, if you're not seeing any production, so they only take the top 3 counties that you put. So if you're not seeing any traction on one of those counties or all of them, you can go in and switch them, because I know a lot of you are located around way more than 3, but unfortunately you just have to pick 3. So you can play with those counties and just update that information as needed. And I'll be keeping an eye on that for you as well.
It allowed me to put in, I think, 10 counties. So, because I try to get the best ones out of all 3 states. So, but I just did it today, so we'll see.
Perfect. Cool. I'll be watching that too.
Cool. Sorry, my brain got sidetracked as I was like literally mid-sentence. I think what Nicola was saying though is that they may only pull those first 3. So just a thing to note there. Sarah, are you too late for Home Story? I don't know if you're too late for Home Story. The answer is you would never be too late.
Yeah, I never.
As long as you have qualifying production. So just connect with Nicola after the call and she'll get you going on it.
Make a note.
Nicola, if you can also make a note to update Zoom webinar for the town hall so people can chat.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was the other one that was supposed to be on my list. I forgot to mention. So that'd be great. Okay. Sorry. Keep on cruising. Oh, you're fine, Nicola. Or sorry, Sarah, you're fine. If it goes to everybody, we're all one fam on here. Second thing, I just love you guys. I had such a great time chatting with each of you. I think I got a chance to talk with every one of you. Definitely did. But I think I talked to every broker last month when I did or last week and a half ago, when I did all my calls, and I kind of just reported back to the team that we just have like the most incredible people, and just wanted to say that to you, that I feel like I'm in rarefied air every time I make those rounds of calls. And like each person that I talk to, not only am I like, man, this person's even cooler than the last person. So if you're at the end of my calls, just think about that. But I also feel like everybody that I talk to has nothing but great things to say about the other brokers, which also makes me thrilled that there's just great community, great relationships, and that you guys are staying connected as leaders inside of the company. So I know this market is tough for everybody, us included, but we can win together. And at the very least, misery loves company, and we can get through some hard times together. Wanted to give you guys a heads up that there's going to be some new lending opportunities coming from Century. We found a bank that is veteran owned, that has historically, from what we've seen in the last 2 months that we've been testing things with them, they've been a half point below what anybody else is putting out there. They just approved a buyer yesterday for a $1.1 million loan, so a jumbo purchase, and had them at a 5.625, which is just a great rate right now, a phenomenal rate right now. Like everyone else was giving them 6.2 to 6.5, like they were a full point below, or no, they were 7/8, I think, or 3/4 below what everybody else was quoting them. And they do more VA mortgages than anyone else in the country by a long shot. And trust me, don't worry, it's not Veterans United.
Thank you. I was just gonna ask that.
Yeah, no. And when I say they, as a total institution, VU might have them beat, but they originated 2,300 VA loans last year, I want to say, just as a small like banking institution. So they're, from a like team perspective, no one else comes remotely close to them. So more to come on that, but just wanted to let you know that even in the meantime, we've already started putting our clients over there, because it's helped us to take clients that were, pre-approved up to, call it 500 for a round number, and then we put them with them, and all of a sudden they're up to 600 because that extra little difference in rate gave them another, $650 a month that they could put towards a payment. So the exact same loan amount or exact same loan payment now gets them, another $100,000 worth of property just by getting them a better rate. Next one, 2 transitions. One, everyone saw on the last email blast that we sent out, and she's sitting right here right now, Miss Kim Nickel. So Cherie decided to step down as state broker to pursue an opportunity where she will be full-time with a veteran-focused charitable organization in the Myrtle Beach area. So super sad as we are. Well, actually, it's crazy. It's like such a conflicted feeling, because 1, it's awesome what she's doing, so you feel great about that. 2, it's sad because we're losing Cherie as state broker, and she's a phenomenal woman, has been an incredible Century and a great advocate for everything we're doing. But then 3, we're gaining Kim Nickel as our broker. So you're happy about that. So I guess 2 out of 3 are a good thing. So we'll go with this as a positive.
Everyone's happy, so that's
Yeah.
good at the end of the day.
Yeah. And Kim, as you guys all know from spending time with her, is just a gem of a human being. She's a phenomenally talented agent, broker, and as just a Century through and through and through. So I think we, if anything, have had a lateral shift, if not, don't tell Cherie this, but upgraded with Kim coming in. Cherie actually has always told me, like, hey, Kim's the real like one doing everything around here. Like Kim's the one that's making things happen. She's the one that's leading my team. She's the one that's like making all this stuff go. So it's almost like she was planting the seed for the last 2 years for this exact transition, and we'll call it a graduation inside of the business. The other one that it hasn't happened anytime yet, but will be coming, we think, here in the near future. Julie Trott in Colorado is going to stay on with Century, but is going to step down to be an agent and we'll be hiring a broker to replace her. She's got, I mean, it's like everyone right now. There's a bunch of stuff going on. She just lost her dog, and then now she's losing her parents, and she's like dealing with like hospice and hospital stuff, and dealing with all this. And she's like, hey, like I can't be responsible for being on someone's beck and call to be responsible for other agents right now. She wants to keep doing real estate. She's even representing, a friend of mine right now, there in Colorado. But she's like, I've got to create some more bandwidth on my calendar. So Nicola has been hot on the pursuit of broker for us there in Colorado. And just before this call, literally the first 2 minutes of this call when I was late, Nicola was in my office saying, I found the Colorado broker. She's awesome. So I don't even know who it is or anything about them yet, but according to Nicola, it's we're in a good spot and have some good people coming forward.
But if any of you know someone, we're always looking for referrals, so send them all over.
When you might as well be able to earn some income from referring them in too. Next thing, for all of you that are on and for those that are not on, that are watching this later as a recording, I didn't end up sending out a reminder email this month, or a more than one reminder email this month, because I knew I was going to be doing the awards and I wasn't going to get to go through the state by state updates. However, just to put some accountability out there, I think I only got like 3 monthly state reports this month. I haven't looked through to see exactly how many, but just a reminder to everyone, please send those in. Those are helpful for us internally because it gives you guys a chance to share like issues and updates of actually what's going on legally and whatnot in the state. But it also is just our chance to recognize you and to recognize the people in the state. So if you didn't fill it out this month, please make sure you do for next month. If you did fill it out this month, then you're a freaking rock star. Great job. Oh, and look at this. I'm now seeing people saying they haven't seen the email. You know what it might be? It might have been a workflow that terminated as of the end of last year.
I'll look into that, Dan.
Yeah, if you can take a look at that for me, that would be awesome. And we'll relaunch it if in fact it might have only had so many. So if no one saw it, then that's exactly why. And now I don't feel like anyone was just avoiding doing it. So the thing to remember here is, Dan, make sure you send out your workflow. Okay, last thing, 2023 goals. I want to encourage and ask each of you, first and foremost, I did this with our staff and the other leaders in the company during our staff meeting just now. But one, I said this on last month's town hall, but for each of you as leaders, like really make sure you spend some time, if you haven't already, between now and the end of the month, and really think through what your personal goals are for this year. What are you trying to accomplish in 2023? Who are you trying to become? Whether that's family, whether that's financial, whether that's investments, could be adventure, could be vacations, could be health. There's all kinds of things that you can attach goals to, but set some meaningful goals that are time bound and that are measurable, so that you can actually be able to track them on a monthly basis and come back and see progress towards the things that you are trying to pursue. So that's one. On number 2 is for you and your business goals, be thinking through where you are, and this is specific to Century. You should have regular business goals for your individual production as well, but specifically for Century, be thinking through, like, if you had 3 things that you wanted to tackle and achieve for Century this year, simplify it down to that and say, what are the things I'd like to do in Indiana, in South Carolina, in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut. And by the way, if you're watching this on Zoom, I'm saying the states for those that are actually in here right now, in Illinois, in Georgia, in California, and in each of these places, decide what are the 3 things that you could do that would make the biggest impact on your business as a Century leader and broker this year. And then what I would love to do is when we have a call here in a couple of weeks, I'll be reaching out to you all again. Let's just chat through what those are. And then we can talk about alignment on those, and then how we can actually enable bringing those to pass. And that was what I wanted to share. So now let's open it up for the last 5 minutes or so here for open forum for you.
Where's Andy at?
He's at Disney World.
Okay.
Yeah, he his text. Let me see if I can find it. I'll paraphrase in case I don't find it right away. It said, "Hey guys, I'm at Disney World. Why didn't anyone tell me that this is the absolute opposite of free?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Is there any way that one of you can lead the broker meeting for me, since I'm going to be here tomorrow as well?" And then both Nicola and I jumped on it and said that we would do it. And then he said, "Perfect. I'm in Epcot, Mexico right now, so I'm going to go practice my Spanish."
So funny. Cool.
Jason says, "How about them Cowboys?" Are you afraid to say that publicly with your voice? How about them Chargers?
Negative. How about them Cowboys? Yeah.
Terrible.
No, I think Sarah and I can, just say that the Colts and the Bears are clearly the best teams in the NFL right now.
Hey, I want what you're smoking. So
Well, what Sarah did tell me
Indiana and
yesterday,
Chicago do it right.
what
I
Sarah
say go
did tell me,
Giants. My family is a Giants fan, so I'm gonna throw that in there.
there you go.
well, I already
Before-
put that in. I already put them in there because I've been a long time Giant. I'm a New Yorker, so been a
That's
long time
right.
Giants fan. So absolutely.
That's right.
That's awesome. Did someone just type this? Does anyone have an agent
I
named?
did that.
Oh, why?
If you guys know of an agent, I have a referral for that area.
Jason, do you have anyone near there?
Jason doesn't have someone close.
Oh, Gotcha.
Yeah, Anitra's in Macon, and that's a bit of a hike still. It's like another 2 hours from Atlanta, so I don't
Yeah.
think that's going to be within her reach.
Cool.
Just throwing it out there.
But if
Is
anybody
that
else,
Atlanta?
apparently,
I don't know where that spot is.
Is
Yeah,
that-
it's just west of Atlanta. It's just out the suburbs of east Atlanta.
cool.
Hey, Dan, I do have a actual company question.
Yeah.
Uh,
hit me.
I know we were talking about finances and things and yada with the company, but do you see or are you planning on any type of slowing down with any type of expansions? Or are you guys just going full steam ahead like you've always been going? Or I don't know how
Yeah,
much money it costs. to open
Yeah,
up
I would
everything.
say from on the expansion front, we would take a more scrutinous look at new MLSs and new states. Just because what was someone's production that they would say, "Hey, this is my production, I want to come in." You would just have a different kind of view and understanding of that now because their production, I mean, look at our top agents like Bessie, as a top producer, went from 98 families served down to 68 families served. And she's an example of someone that's like, doing a tremendous amount. We had others who were, 30 in the 30 to 40 range that were down at 18. So when an agent comes in and says, "Hey, I want to open up a new MLS," there's significant fees associated with that. So we just want to have a good understanding of what their production is to be able to say, "Yep, we're good and going." But we've already got the tools in place for that. So that wouldn't be anything other than just making sure we have confidence that one, they're a century and they're in, and two, that the production would be there for us to expand profitably. That's probably the only caveat to really give to that is that like we've always focused on profitable expansion, but it'll be a greater requirement now just because if it means that we don't add new MLSs and states, let's just say hypothetically, we didn't add any this year for a new MLS or a new state because there was none that could be added profitably. Better to do that than to add add losses to the company in a season that's for sure rocky.
It's not rocky. I remember when I was signing 200-day listing agreements because
Yeah, right. Right. It is.
that's rocky.
Hey, I'll say it is flat out rocky. Now, whether or not it's rocky everywhere yet is something to still see play out. But around here, it's definitely in a and in many markets, by the way. So when I talked to all the brokers last week, that's obviously one of the main points of conversation that we have. And I'd say 20% of our brokers feel like, yeah, things are kind of slower, but still kind of like normal. 80% would say, yeah, things have kind of like screeched to almost a halt.
I think it's a lot of perception too. I mean, just because we've had so many years of great,
Yeah.
good, and then now we're
Yeah.
kind of having a correction. Now it's perceived, and that's what's going to freak people out. And that's what
Well,
is
so
going.
yes and no, though, Brad. So that's why when I start the town hall, I start with the objective and quantitative data rather than anything qualitative, because I'm looking at it macro and all year. So it's like year to year comparisons. And yes, it hurts worse unequivocally because it's up against a couple of years where it was just a freaking madhouse of real estate. So it feels worse. But if you look at it, though, numbers wise, it objectively is still much worse and is much worse than it even was in like 2016, 17, 18, 19, and against historical averages as well.
You know, I don't particularly, not up here anyway. I mean, we're not running around with our hair on fire like we did for 3 years, but we are busy up here. So
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's going to depend agent to agent to agent as well. What else you got, Brad? Anything else?
I'm gonna hop off, Dan.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. I think, is this an external call or an internal call, Nicola?
This is an external
In-
call.
No, I think it's internal. I think it's
Is it
just
internal?
you, me, and Mike. We do still need to,
Oh, that makes me feel better. And
but
then
it's in preparation. So next week we've got another, Mike's actually jumping in Zoom right now, Nicola. We've got another training call. We've been selected as the exclusive real estate partner for Calibri for their new veteran agents that are coming in. So we've got another training call with 500 veteran agents that are being granted real estate school at the cost of Calibri. So we're presenting to them to share them what their path is going to be like. So we're going to come up with what we're going to say right now. So with that, thank you all for being who you are. Thank you for everything that you're doing.